name is Spyro P. Panisopoulos, all right? This is my mother's house where I live because I don't have an apartment, all right? I'm in a band, all right? I'm in this band called Poeside. The reason it's called Poeside is because I hate poetry, even though I'm a poet, all right? All right? Now, why should I be on the real world? Okay, I'll tell you why. One, I'm more interesting than most of the people you've had on. Two, I can actually probably add something to your damn show that you haven't had, which is something to the effect, I'm a recovering heroin addict. Okay, see this? I've told everybody that that was a biking accident. That was an abscess that I will never repeat, okay? Because I put a needle in my arm, I kept putting the needle in the same place so no one would see track marks all over my arm and think that I was okay, and then basically what happened was I'm scarred for life now because I used to use heroin. And I'm still apt to want to use, though I don't. Okay? Alright, my name is Spyro P. Panisopoulos. I usually just go by Spyro. Most people know me just by Spyro. I'm a poet. Because I was seeing what was going on in the New York poetry scene, and I found a lot of rhetoric, a lot of lying, a lot of backstabbing, and it's not what I thought poetry was about. So I got into it. I got published. I'm being published in a book called Pain and Pleasure from the Poem Phone Poets, from a service called Poem Phone. It's like Dial a Joke, except it's Dial a Poet and I'm on it, which I thought was pretty silly, but I did it anyway, and I got paid to be published, which poets don't get paid. If anybody's ever thinking about becoming a poet, they just don't bother, because you don't get paid. And then you just, like, you know, people like you if you write the worst, ugliest stories about your life, and it just becomes a big, disgusting mess.
Where are John, Joe, Jake, Jim, Jerk? Dead. They were not born. Before they were born, they were not born. Where are Leonardo, Rembrandt, Ludwig? Alive. Alive.
I don't like poetry in general, but I write it. I'm in a band called Poeside. That's like a hardcore hip-hop, acid jazz kind of thing. I'm the front man. Yeah, it's kind of comedic. We like to call it flaccid jazz.
Poeside. She wants to know who we are. This is cool. Yeah, we have a mailing list. What's your name? Who are you? Feel that pain that'll fill my soul. There's nothing I can say about hunger you don't already know. Another prayer from unanswered, they be ignored. And all the speeches on all the platforms just keep us bored. So throw out the hands that come the home inside. You want to the God is fine. You want to study, you know I'm in touch. Scared of our girl. Nothing stays much. Word don't stick. That's the wrong thing. Word don't stick. Recollections though. I keep having these recollections though. Back in the day, of times I don't remember, of faces I don't recall, of places I've never been to, with an echo sounding through a tunnel that ended a song saying, "You are here and now," which will never be as pleasant as there and then.
We work for AIDS awareness, for the Broken Hearts Foundation for AIDS Awareness. We did a big party in Prospect Park in Brooklyn at the band shell. We had bands and stuff, barbecue. This is my nephew, Peter Panisopoulos, and this is his grandfather, my brother's kid. He's also Peter Panisopoulos. That's Gary. That's my bass player and my bud. All right. I love kids. Back to the charity thing. I used to work with retarded kids when I was in high school, and kids who had like epilepsy and, you know, different kinds of mental problems. They kind of grouped them all into one thing, whether they were slow or if they had, you know, motor skill problems.
What did you do with them?
What?
What did you do with them?
Well, you basically have to help them do their homework, you know, organize dance and events for them. The guy who just walked out, John, come here. That's my friend John Kessler, who's a bartender and a great musician. Let me say this again. My Have we talked about this? No. I used to be the king of the mermaids at Coney Island. We started a protest, basically, against McDonald's, a big corporation.
What were they doing?
They were trying to basically muscle out through unfair business practices and through just plain out money, muscle out the Coney Island sideshow, which was the only remaining sideshow on Coney Island. Your fire eater, your sword swallower, your contortionist, and it was a part of Coney Island culture since Coney Island started, right, Pete?
100 years ago.
Yeah, it was about 100 years ago. And they were trying to muscle them out and take their spot. Like, we need another McDonald's. No, we need more sideshows. We need less McDonald's. So what we did is
American history.
What's that?
It's American history.
It is American history, and it's part of all our history. It's here in Brooklyn. And Brooklyn is full of freaks, so we need something to represent. Work out of. This is actually underneath my brother John's house. Came here just to introduce you to Bobo. Bobo, who has his own apartment, yet I don't. Bobo was given to me after some friends had to move out of town and they couldn't take care of her anymore. It's pretty much full grown. And I love Bobo and Bobo loves me because unlike most people, Bobo never stabs me in the back or Bobo never does anything to hurt me intentionally. Bobo doesn't go anywhere unless I do, and I don't go anywhere unless Bobo does. So if I get on the real world, Bobo has to come with me. And he will not be left alone. I will not abandon him. Right now, Bobo has a big snotty nose and he's snotting up all over the place. And he's got teary eyes. I don't know, what's wrong with you? Why do you have teary eyes? You're getting stuff all over here. And you're drooling. What's wrong with you?
Bobo's on heroin again.
Yeah, he's a mutant. He's a freak, just like me. You know? Years ago, this is an ad I did for a jazz concert. If you could see it. It was finished in color. It's the original. It's my friend Paul. That's something I did for one of his poetry readings. This is for my old band, House of Soul. I didn't do that, but I did do that. And I did that over there, which is, what we did was we took an old photo from an old movie poster and we interspersed ourselves in it. I do a lot of computer work. I don't on a computer right now. Did it mostly off my ex-girlfriend's when she was around. I'm saving up to buy one so I could do more of this kind of Photoshop work and this kind of stuff. I took up cartooning when I was in college at the School of Visual Arts, but I didn't stay with it. I went to liberal arts courses in Hunter College, but I didn't stay with it. I went to Institute of Audio Research because I used to stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning and see their wacky commercials, but I did stick with it, finished it, but never did anything with it. Except I was a roadie. I was on tour with the Monsters of Rock, if you remember that, with Aerosmith and all that. I was a roadie working on the U2 Joshua Tree tour. It was some of the first jobs I had. I used to travel the country with smaller bands. One was a band called Trouble Tribe, who has since vanished into obscurity. But it was fun. I used to be a bass tech for a Japanese band called Easy-O. That was pretty funny. None of them spoke much English. And Gene Simmons from Kiss produced them and wrote most of the songs. They were a good band, but I think they were just shot lifers, you know, drugged out rock and roll dreamers who just never went anywhere. Hopefully that doesn't happen to me. Thinking about going back to school, and other than that, I don't know where my life is going. I'm still figuring it out. I'd like to know if I'm gonna actually go someplace with my band. I think we're doing okay. We got a nice little following, good crush, a lot of good write-ups. Maybe I'll go someplace with my writing. I'm starting to be published now. Maybe I'll end up working behind a bar in Barbados somewhere and picking up on all the tourists. Someone told me to mention my sexual orientation. As of the moment, I'm seeing someone, female. I'm apt to see men though, as well. I consider myself bisexual. But other than that, you know, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what my life is doing, and I think it would be a great time for me to be on the real world. what do you think?